All right. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dust Off the Mic podcast. I'm your humble host, Dustin Yelowitz. With me today, I have a full-on sausage party inside my garage right now. With me is Big Brother, the Rabbi, or I'm sorry, heavy metal Rabbi Eric Yelowitz, proprietor and operator of Comics and Killers Collectables and various other things. Behind the trenches, behind the computer, is Jay Blend. Every man cave filled with sausage party essence needs a cum rag, and his name is Jay Blendowski. He's going to be producing for us today.
Jesus. Clearly, you forgot you gave me a mic.
I
that
know
was a horrible thing to say about it.
on live too, nonetheless. And with us today, the very special guest, very hilarious, good friend of our family, and just an all-around good dude, comedian Chris Smith.
What's going on?
Thanks for coming by, dude. That's a long trek.
It wasn't easy. In 295 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
I happy. Jesus
me talk.
Christ. Sorry, me talk since 4 morning. I'm really I'm honored that you came all this way. And we love you for that.
No, dude. This is my second family.
Hell yeah, dude. We've indoctrinated you into the world of Jews.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I haven't had a single good Seder yet. Like, that's bullshit.
And you won't. You probably won't.
You don't need a good Seder.
What is it? What? First of all, what's a Seder?
Which one? There's like 14 variations of Jews and Seders, like, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I could say is just stay away from the gefilte fish. It's awful.
It's probably
First of all, I know what gefilte fish is, but
it's
just
terrible.
The name, right?
Terrible.
Like, no one's ever been like, "Hey, want the gefilte?" And someone's been like, "Oh, shit's delicious."
Well, no one's
You call this gefilte?
No one's named Jewish stuff and just been thinking,
sex appeal. Let's do this. Gefilte fish. Oh.
But no,
that's a hot knish.
So
that's all right. That's
I wanted to start it all off with just the simple fact that you're fucking hilarious. Eric and I pretty much started our stand-up career in the wake of what you were doing. Eric and you started up 215, and you guys ran with that shit for a long time. And I've always known you to be like an adopted son to my father. And bring me back. Take me back to where it all began and what got you into comedy and got you on this path that you're currently at.
So I was in high school. Friends said, "You should do stand up at the talent show," and I said, "No." And and my friends, like, back in the day, so this is like 1997, 98. So all my friends are into like ska and punk music and a lot of plaid pants and gelatin hair. And Mighty Ball Stones, that type of stuff.
No, it's beautiful stuff. Good imagery.
I like knocking on wood.
It just had to be 11th grade because I remember there was a senior,
He's really dating himself though,
who basically was like, "You got to do this. You got to do this." And I said no. So I was there helping out my buddies get all their band stuff.
Sure.
And unbeknownst to me, they had invited my parents and told them that I was going to be doing stand up, and I had no idea I was doing stand up. So I hear my name get called, and my buddy looks at me, and I'm like, "Are you?" And he's like, "Come on!" And he literally,
you could just sign somebody up for the talent show and pressure them on stage.
Because he was. Let's just put it this way: where I went to high school, and it was 1990s. Not much fucks were given. All right. So I also did Baby Got Back. So when I'm standing on stage doing I Like It Long and Strong, and I'm down to get the friction on, like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like all these faces were like, "Oh, that's what the song says." So, clearly they didn't give a shit.
Yes.
And what was really cool was I had talked about, like, I was going to do this, like, if I did, if I did this. And then I went on stage to a packed auditorium of like 1,200 people, and
it's a big first set.
Yeah,
it's a huge
especially not preparing for it, even though I had talked about it a lot with my friends about, I'd say this, and it just took over. Like, it just felt so natural. And I remember I did a story about I worked at a gas station when I was 16, 17 years old, and it was it was full serve on one side because we weren't in Jersey where they trust people to pump their own gas, and then it was on the other side you could pump your own. And these two women started fighting over one pump, and there was two pumps, so it was like they were fighting over this one pump, and I reenacted this whole fight between them. And I won't say that I won't do it today because it's definitely a little racist when the way I presented it. But I didn't say anything racist. It's just when a white guy's like doing a black woman, it sounds really bad now. So I won't do that. But
saying a white woman can't do a black woman in and of itself does a little bit sound racist.
What's that?
When you say that a white woman.
I said a white woman. I said a white man.
No, a white man can't do.
I think white in general
woman.
trying to do black, but I mean, I do quite a few black impressions, and
they
killed in jail. I got to tell you, they
well, see, that's the thing.
They killed in jail.
Audiences are different, right? I'm not offended or upset by anything, but I'm in a really good position. I'm a white dude, so like, what do I have to be upset about?
You can't even hurt my feelings. Louis C.K.
Am I wrong?
You can't even hurt my feelings.
Like, what could you possibly say to me that would make me go, oh yeah, my life's rough? Like that's the thing is like comedy came from when I was a kid. Like my mom was born with at a year old developed juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. My dad, when I was born, was the CEO of methamphetamines, producing them, smoking them, injecting them, selling them.
Is it a trademark or the methamphetamine TM?
Like I try to explain it to people, and like my dad did meth, and everyone's like, everyone's parents did drugs in the 80s. I'm like, no. Like my dad did meth.
And meth is some shit.
So I was able to use comedy, like when my mom was sick, to laugh, to get through really, like when people say, "What'd you have for dinner?" It was like laughter. Like that's the one thing that was free, and we could fill up on as much as we could. So comedy just became natural, making people laugh. Like when my dad finally got clean, laughter is what kept him happy, right? Like you keep dad laughing, he can't get mad.
Like controlling the area around you,
right?
Making the immediate area as happy as possible,
and hating the idea of being around people that were clowns.
Yes,
constantly trying to be funny, forcing the laugh. Like I did it as a kid to keep peace.
Awkward comedy kind of stuff.
Yeah, like you just like it's like that need to get the laugh when it's like you're talking about something serious.
Yeah.
And I love taking serious topics and making them funny, but I also know time and place.
Sure, for sure.
So, but then to like meeting your brother, shit, I mean, years under my belt, but I stopped comedy altogether. I had 2 kids. I was married to Satan. That was cool. I mean, I learned a lot of shit. You can say her name 3 times backwards and spin in a circle and she won't appear. It's only when the millionaire tries to take money. But anyway, I digress. See that fun little fucking trip down hatred. So then I got back into comedy because the neighbor I was fucking when I was married to my ex-wife. Well, we were both fucking her, so let's just be honest. But anyway, yeah, I know that's how it all started. So it's just, I'm really, really good at eating vagina. So don't introduce other women to this talk. Is what I'm saying.
Would you care to talk more to that for the viewers?
Talk about it more.
Yeah.
I don't mess around. Like you know the movie Christmas Story.
I do.
Eat like a biggie.
All right.
I'll fuck around. Like my place clean. Doesn't matter how I get there.
So you met Eric.
So I met Eric. We were doing stand-up. I think I came to an open mic in Jersey area.
Yeah, Michelle Teal.
So anyway, fuck. Yeah.
What was that?
Why do I
South Jersey Comedy Club?
Why do I remember that?
No, don't.
South Jersey Comedy Club.
Yeah, it'll just stop. Because we will spend the next 45 minutes on hatred.
I already know exactly where you're going with that. Continue, please. Before we go on another hate rant.
But no, it was like, it was a bunch of guys just doing open mic. And, I've always said my advice to every comedian I've ever met is like, find your voice, find out who you are. And what's funny is your voice is going to change every few years. You have kids, you take on responsibilities, new job, new
perspective.
Yeah, it's like, so you change. But comedy for me has never changed. So like I said, I don't care when I hear somebody say something offensive. because typically it's not going to offend me, but I then put myself in that person's shoes that could be offended. And I think, is it worth it? Like, it's easy as fuck to punch down.
Yeah.
Like and see, I'm really good at that, because when you grow up as a fat kid, Eric, right? You learn how to verbally defend yourself and attack. So when somebody is coming at you, it's like I was the wrong guy to fuck with, because I was paying attention to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew about your parents getting divorced. So when you were coming to me about something, I'm like, hey, have you seen your dad lately? Or does he hate you as much as I do? And you'd see like a kid who was ready to fucking choke me to death, be like,
Can you imagine if we were friends with him with back in the day?
Oh yeah, it would have been. It'd have been sweet, because it took me a while to kind of find my voice. I had friends back in the day when I was on the heavier side that I kind of rolled with, and then when they left the area, I was kind of by myself. So when I was getting just berated for being a fat sack of melted candle shit for the longest time, it just took me a little while to kind of pull myself out of that funk. And then I realized, hey, I'm larger than 95% of these fucking dudes giving me shit. And then it was just game on. It was like Big Van Vader squashing fucking Mr. Rogers.
You standing up for yourself, cracking the kid in
Yeah,
the
dude.
cafeteria. I remember that. I mean, I remember Mom's reaction. I didn't see it or anything, but I remember Mom's reaction.
Yeah, people were getting friggin' thrown into lockers.
And with a strict upbringing like Mom and Rich and Dad and Sue provided, they were elated. They were just super. They were like, all right, let's go. Do it again. We're like, he's been berated and harassed for most of his childhood, and the moment he stands up for himself, he gets in trouble, and then none of the family gave a fuck.
Right?
No, none of the family gave a fuck.
And then it was off to the races, and just people were just getting their shit kicked in.
Right, because like again, protecting yourself verbally only lasts so long.
Exactly. You can only be funny and try to diffuse the situation
for
so long, and then
or ignore it, as you say. Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
Just hide your feelings.
Dude, because then you try to be funny and talk shit to the wrong person, and then like 8 dudes jump you, and you're like, all right, well, I'm just not going to do anything about it.
I was a freshman in high school. We just moved to a new house, new school district, whatever. And every day I got on the bus, there was a kid who talk shit. And one day I just snapped, like not on the kid, like I got off the bus and I'm like, I'm bawling. I'm just like like again, melted candle wax, like Eric said. I was, this lumpy bowl of shitty oatmeal, and I go into the house and I'm like, pizza, fat, and I'm shoving Twinkies down my throat to make myself feel better.
Yep.
And my dad came home, and I'm still like that heavy, terrible cry that we do when we
ugly cry.
You can't breathe.
Yeah, my 5-month-old does that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you're crying like a newborn, and my dad came in and he's like, "What's the problem?" And I told him everything. And he's like, "Are you bigger than this kid?" I'm like, "Well, we all know I'm bigger than this kid because I'm fat." And he's like, do you think he can take you? Are you afraid of him that way? And I'm like, no. And my dad's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, you tell him, you turn around and fucking tell him. So I stopped. It was like the Kevin Hart bit where when the mom says, you tell your teacher, like I was like, ooh, I laid in bed. I was rocking this shit. I was like, I was clapping. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go on the bus tomorrow. And that motherfucker, I sat down. He was like, hey, fatty. And I turned around. I was like, listen, motherfucker. And everybody in the bus went, ah! And I was like, I will come the fuck back there and beat you to death. Keep talking your shit, motherfucker. I said, because you're at the back of the bus, which means unless you jump out the back, you're gonna have to show everybody how fucking tough you are. Now, do you want a fucking piece of me? I'm right fucking here. Say another fucking word. You just fucking crickets. So I sat down. He didn't say shit to me after that. And it was like, oh, okay, now I don't have to worry about it from either angle. If somebody's gonna fuck with me physically, my dad, he unscrewed the cap and was like, you're allowed to protect yourself. And that's where I recognize that comedy and standing up for people. I mean, that's where the bit about the deaf person at the Wawa. I mean, I defended people that weren't there in a moment, but that lady was such a cunt So the joke goes, and it's not a joke, it's a story. I'm in a Wawa. This is before the screens, and the woman said the total, and I was a dick. I went and I just raised my shoulders, and she's like, "God, are you deaf?" And I looked at her and I was like, I am deaf. And she was like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry." I was like, "You shouldn't be. I can read lips." And then I got to the door and I turned around. I was like, "Hey!" And she looked at me and I was like, "I'm not fucking deaf, but you're a bitch." And I walked out. And
oh my God.
And it's like, so that girl's bullied somebody before, whether they're deaf or whatever. She's bullied. Like, she just had an angry way about her. So I put her in a place where I'm hoping the next time she decided to be a see you next Tuesday, she thinks twice about it.
Was that the same Wawa that you rolled up to in a penguin costume?
No.
Oh, that was fun.
No, that was, and I saw that picture the other day.
And a crop top and a.
Hold on, are we just gonna go past the penguin costume thing?
No,
we're talking about the same thing.
Okay, go on.
We walked down the street from his house to his Wawa. He was wearing a penguin costume, and I think I was wearing like a crop top and like a purple wig, pigtails, purple wig. Yeah, there's a picture of it.
No, it's like we look like we were too poor to be furries. But
I actually look like I was giving hand
furries.
Jobs under that Trenton Makes Bridge over there.
Yeah, well, that's how we got the penguin suit and the wig to begin with.
That's how I paid for the rental wig.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Can I have a shorty?
So now you have all the confidence you need. Now you are honing yourself to be a verbal assassin.
And again, I didn't use it to. I mean, I did. There were times when I was a cunt. I know that.
Same.
We've all had our moments. Anyone who's like, going to sit there and be like, "No, I've always been a defender of the." No,
I had a little guy complex growing up. I was always smaller. Go figure. I was just the littlest guy out of my whole group of friends, and you had to learn to either break balls back, or slap them across the face every now and again. And like it was never really like a size each other up. It was more like a physical rivalry and making sure everybody was on point. We can bust each other's balls because there's nothing but love there, kind of stuff.
But that's also how dudes are.
That's exactly how they are.
Like watch girls. It's so funny because like I have daughters, right? So
Same.
I see them greet each other like teenagers. I'm like, "Oh my God, lots of hugs." And like when guys see each other, we do the same thing. We hug. Except we try to hurt each other by smacking the shit out of our backs. Fuck you, good to see you. Now, and we fight when the guys will fucking how's that, Bruce? Cunt, fucking smacking back and forth. Like that's what guys do. And like people are like, "Why are men so aggressive?"
Even the handshake, it's like the handshake from fucking Predator. Dylan, you son of a bitch! It's just,
and then just
the muscles and just.
What are you doing? What are you doing? No,
my hand.
Shaking a hand that's not a blood sport. You know what I mean? Like it should just be like, "Oh, yours is firm, mine's is firm." Like that's it. That's it.
It's just affirmation. You know what I mean? It really because I'm in sales and every handshake is vastly different. But I don't know. Some people give you the little
fingertips, the weak. Yep.
And
the little like this. I fucking can't stand that, dude.
I've had people come at me with that. Like I understand if like
from like across the room, they're like,
"Listen,
hey,
it's the first time meeting somebody, you don't know their energy. You come in and it just happens." That's one thing. But if
I would curtsy.
What do you want me to do?
Like if they put their hand out like this, like with the thumb with the fingers down,
like a little plie,
I would take it and just do it. Yeah, exactly.
I'm a human being.
Thank you, kind sir.
Kiss the ring, sir. Yes. Thank you for your presence.
Fucking anus. But anyway, so and I remember the times of when you and Eric had first joined forces, and you guys were on a roll for a good year or two before I jumped onto the scene.
Well,
what was my first? I think my first open mic was Pizza Forno.
No,
Pizza
I think
Forno.
Yours,
it was a bar. I was trying to remember the name
I
of
think
it.
Yours was that used to be Brewster's. I think.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I had.
On the bowling alley,
yeah, the bowling alley. That's
right, because
dumpster fire.
One of my first times, I was like 17 when I went up.
Yeah,
and I wasn't allowed in like the bar, so I had to like stay by the door and wait. And wait, and then
that's right. They wouldn't let him in the friggin' building. They're like, "You're gonna stand over there."
There was one show, and it had happened a few times, and I just got used to smoking cigarettes outside and waiting for my name to be called and walk in. Like they would let me pick my music. Gorillaz, Clint Eastwood, and they would and then
shout out to Bud Hoffman.
Well, yeah, dude, and I would literally just wait for
He's still over there,
to be announced, and then go in. And then I think there was one show where the bouncer, the door guy, actually did an open mic too. He's like, "Hold on, man, can't come in. Hold on, my turn." And he's like, "All right, you're up, bro."
Oh yeah, the older guy. He was like drunk. I forget what he had like that weird. He had like the white bowl hair cut, and then he had like the fucking Hulk
Bruce
Hogan.
Blanche?
But then he had a Hulk Hogan like.
So Bruce Blanche fucked Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, I guess.
All right,
it was weird.
I don't remember. Let's be honest.
Some mutant-esque Hulk Hogan.
There's been some weird fucking dudes to roll through Brewster's. Let's be honest. At just South Jersey comedy, period. I mean, let's.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. I was.
There's a couple,
and then you guys got Dad doing it. There was literally 3
the funny thing
Yelowitzes
is,
in circulation of comedy.
The funny thing
is,
he actually went first.
Really?
He actually started before I did.
I actually saw him perform.
Yeah,
that's when he came to me, and I remember saying I met like a George Carlin like knockoff.
Yep.
Like that's exactly what I thought when I met Barry the first time.
For Carlin all the time
because he started first, and then my first show was at Corollo's in Marlton.
Okay, I actually remember that. Yep, yeah, I remember that.
That was interesting. The only person that laughed was Jess Carpenter. True story. I was ready to be like, all right, this is the worst experience of my life. And he actually pulled me over to the side and he was like, dude, you are actually legit funny. Just keep at it. It's your first show. I was ready to, it was awful. Bad.
No, I think because I didn't have the same introduction into comedy that other people had. Like I literally, it's like your first time ever having a sexual experience. Like I got like anal. Like that's what comedy was.
Word.
Mm-hmm. Like you skipped the kissing, really the foreplay, the hand job, the titty sucking, all that. It was just like take my butthole.
I have a joke about it because it's exactly how it was. It lasted 30 seconds. There was 45 minutes of crying afterwards. That's exactly how it was. It was awful, dude.
And I had the opposite where I got 5 minutes of oh, and then I got to see. I was making old people eat out of my fucking hand. Like that was where I was like, wait a minute. Like it was the most there's no drug in the fucking world, and I've tried a few, that can compare to a set that you just destroy from start to finish, whether it's a 5-minute set or an hour. And like I remember the first time I ever killed a set where I felt like there were stakes at it, and it was at the Parks Casino. They were doing Michael Smirkanish, who's like he's all over like satellite radio and stuff.
Yeah,
he had this book tour thing, and he wanted to have a comedy or a comedian open the book tour. So we had this competition, and Bam Margera's parents, April and Phil, were judges.
Nice.
2 other like 1980s sitcom actors that nobody knows. It was a shit show of judges, and all these New York comedians came down because they had heard about this, and every one of them were fucking, oh, I'm going to do this. And I was just like, oh, whatever. So I'm here to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And from the moment I started to the moment I finished, it was fucking just watching people who I've watched on television just bury their hands in their faces into their arms, and they're laughing so hard, and to have won that and seeing all these pissed off dudes that came down from New York City because they thought they were hot shit because they wanted to do, and I won this. So I got to go on the Michael Smirkanish show. This is the kind of like geeky dorky shit is, but I did a show at the Scottish Rite Theater in around
Collingswood.
Yeah. They picked me up in a limo. Awesome. I had my own dress. It was fucking cool as shit. And then afterwards, after doing that show, having Channel 6's James Gardner, Bernie Perrant, Von Hayes, who was like my fucking hero growing up, and other Philadelphia, like Glenn Macnow, and all of them coming up to me after, like, oh my God, you are so funny. It was like, And for a lot of people, I know the aspiration is you just want to keep doing comedy and build a name and have a big career. And it's like, yeah, if anybody asks me if that's what I want, and I'm like, yeah, of course.
And how far into comedy were you? Like, how many years in were you when you won that?
Well, getting back into that, maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
And I was just doing open mic shit.
Yeah.
Stuff that we were doing. And then I remember I got a phone call from a guy who said, I got a show for you. It's an open mic. You've been wanting to do an all black crowd. And I said, yeah.
Crushed that fucking show, man. It was the funniest thing I have ever seen.
It was, yeah.
I would have been terrified. I'm not gonna lie, to do an all legit, like, and not tiny people either. Like, if I said the wrong thing, I'd have been killed 100%.
And it was, and that was where and I taught for so long in places like North Philadelphia and Camden that I started to feel like every day I was entertaining a demographic that if I were to take this to shows that were all black, perhaps I could have a different kind of success. So we did this one, and then John Johnson called me and said, "Do you want to do a show in Trenton?" And I live right outside of Trenton, so I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I remember we went over to this place, and there was these bouncers that were like 7'9".
Oh,
they were the biggest dudes in the world.
Oof.
And John Johnson said to me, "Oh, the reason there's security is because 2 guys got killed in the parking lot here last night." And I went,
"Were they comedians?"
"No."
Okay.
I was like, "What?" He goes, "There's been a lot of gang stuff here."
Fantastic.
Okay, great.
Fantastic.
So I go in, they pat me down, and it's an old strip club turned into a what the fuck club. So this place is packed. The host literally says, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next guy we're bringing to the stage, he's white." I'm like, fuck, man. Like, you already set it up for me this way. Like, I'm gonna fail.
Like they were supposed to shield their eyes.
Yeah,
when they came
like,
on the stage
right,
or
like,
something.
She's a nice car.
Don't get
but she's got
blinded.
No
He's
handles.
coming out.
So I went
Oh my
on stage
God.
and I remember they were giving us 7 to 8 minutes, and I was closing in on a joke, and I looked over at the host, and he gave me and I was like, fuck yeah. So I did 2 more jokes, finished, went outside, I'm having a cigarette, and that's when I met Billy the Kid, and he came up to me, and he's like, bro, he's like, I have no words for what I just saw. Like, that's his first. He's like, I have no words, and I was like, what do you mean? He goes, yo, what you just did took such balls.
Yeah.
And I was like, looking back on it from different perspectives, yeah, it took balls. But having taught where I taught, like I said,
it didn't take balls to you.
Because it wasn't about acclimating myself to people. Like, oh, I have to get used to it. Like, I was, for all intents and purposes, working with young men and women that I could identify with and could identify with me. And if I can do that, why can't I do this on stage to make people laugh? So it opened up a whole other market. I've gotten to work with a lot of cool guys out of the Trenton area, New York, etc. Doing the tour. My little handicapped friend Lonnie Bruin.
Oh man,
we went out on the West Coast and went from like Washington down into California, and yeah, got to see some strange shit. Yakima, Washington is where hopes, dreams, and souls go to die.
I thought you were going to say Scranton.
No, Scranton again. Scranton
we don't talk shit about Scranton.
Yeah, Scranton is our
no,
Dixon City.
We're talking Dixon City. We're not talking about the office awesome Scranton.
No.
We're talking about Dixon City.
You almost got ejected from the studio.
No,
not even. No, we have reasons.
I will go threat level.
No, I understand. Look, I respect the office just as much as you do. I'm talking.
So there's another Scranton.
There's like the seedy underbelly of Scranton.
Okay.
No, it's the same Scranton that it's based on.
It's like the
show.
upside down Scranton.
But
it's like the Stranger Things Scranton.
We were okay. Dixon City was for like 2.5 years. It was our Vegas. It was our Reno. Like better than Vegas, right? It was our Reno, right? Like,
yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Well, in the sense of. It was nothing like that. No, it was actually it was actually the outskirts of Atlantic City.
Same genus of herpes. Is that why you're so close?
It's not even anything sexual. sexual stuff could have happened in that place at any time.
It definitely did not. It was,
but
it was fucking weird, bro.
Yeah,
he's like, no,
like I remember
it was awful.
with Dave Toronto, who by the way is in prison for killing somebody in an auto accident, and R.I.P. to his future. But he owned a place called Clam Diggers.
R.I.P.
Clam Diggers. Yes, the term that people might use for lesbian was the name of his place, and you would think, oh, is it a lesbian? No, he just like clam diggers. And you're like, oh, like people they go out and dig for clams. He's like, yeah. No, we know exactly why you named it Clam Diggers.
The first thing you encounter when you walk into this place are his 2 security guards, one of which lives under a bridge.
Under a bridge.
Not even
still currently, or
no,
we don't know. This was years ago. We don't know if he's still under a bridge. Maybe he graduated.
And his name was Conan.
Was it?
That's awesome.
Conan.
Was it?
That
Conan?
was
That's
his
awesome.
name was
That
Conan.
Remember, we couldn't.
That sounds like a choice.
We couldn't remember what it was.
I remembered it just the
If
other
your
day.
name
It kind
is
of hit
Conan, and you're that big a dude, you're security, and you live under
No,
a bridge.
he
sounds like a vibe.
He wasn't even
that
a big
sounds like
dude.
Your own vibe.
No, he wasn't a big dude. He was a younger kid. He was like in his 20s.
He was
like
ex-Marine.
an
I mean,
ex-Marine.
he wasn't like he wasn't a lumpy shit like us.
Yeah,
me. Well, he's not him anymore. Me now, but you know,
you look great.
I feel a lot better than I did. I got really good after the accident at eating, dude. I was so good at it. Oh my God. I was like mastering that shit. I was like, my dad did meth the way I was eating.
God. How long did the accident put you out for? Explain to the people what happened.
Yeah, I just realized I just started talking about something that we didn't even preface.
Yeah.
So back in September 30th, I was in a car accident. Guy decided he was in a rush to make a left. And he was like, I'll go through this guy, and just plowed into me. Concussion, 7 broken ribs, punctured lung. Oof. In the ICU for 5 days. They basically gave me the good luck. Like that's when you break your ribs like that, it's just
there's no cast
months of
no
just fucking just hate.
Yeah, it sucks.
Like
every breath,
every fucking breath,
fart,
awful.
Oh,
like
cough,
sitting.
You can't smoke.
You sneeze
because if you cough or sneeze, yes.
Oh, sneezing was like that's the worst because like you build up to it, and you know death's about to happen.
And you're like,
fuck.
My favorite was trying to go from a laying to sitting position.
To those just listening, that sounded like me coming. It wasn't. Continue.
No. I mean, it was definitely not. It was painful. Lots and lots of painful. Just the sitting to,
Yeah, it's funny because like I keep getting to a point in my life where I tell people, like, well, I wouldn't wish kidney stones on anyone. And now I'm like, well, I wouldn't wish broken ribs on anyone. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this whole I wouldn't wish that. I'm not wishing it on.
I just wish I wouldn't wish this just in general on anyone at this point. Just life.
Uh,
The 9mm stone. But anyway, but so I got into the accident and it took me out of commission, and the memory's a little rusty. But overall, I'm feeling much better and doing much better than I was. And
we're happy to hear it. We were worried, dude.
Yeah, well, I
definitely worried.
It was scary because not only do you get to a point where you hurt so much, then you started thinking it's never going to get better. And that's when I started going down to that hole of like feeling bad for myself. I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of this somehow. And that's when I started doing all the art. Was literally because I couldn't do stand up. Because one, I wasn't going to an open mic and hanging out with guys who would ask me 1,000 questions and then expect me to laugh at them when something wasn't funny. I just can't. I can't do that. So I wasn't in the right headspace to lie or bullshit. So I just did art.
That's fair.
Made a piece for you.
It was fantastic. I was going through like a really rough little time, and he was like, hey, this took my mind off of shit. And he did a really cool piece that I can't wait to hang up, like really abstract. He's got like gremlins and Ghostbusters and all kinds of cool shit on there.
Yeah, like I like
it's like it's like a piece of graffiti art.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's a hodgepodge of things that are germane to your life.
Now is art something you dove into during the accident? Was it something
I always
you dabbled with before?
farted around with it.
Okay. So you've always been creative and
designed a lot of 215 stuff, designed a lot of
but
flyers
now
that we've done.
But now it's like getting into being able to do art in the abstract way. Like to be able like
therapeutic.
And to do it in a sense of, I never started it out just thinking, oh, I can do something with this. But then as I was doing it, like people were like, "What? Can I buy that?" I had a woman buy me one of my paintings.
Hey, Jay, could you you sent me that stuff?
Yeah, I sent you.
Can you share that? I just want everybody to see. Some of this shit is nuts.
And a lot of the doodle stuff, like they're fun.
Well, that's some of the best stuff, though.
Yeah, because honestly, like I feel like a child when I do it, and it's like that's why I watch cartoons.
Hey, Jason,
I think that's why so really many people watch cartoons.
Oh yeah, hey,
because
I'm glad to be here.
It takes more than one Jew to counteract my dumb.
Hey, real quick though, not in your inbox.
I definitely sent it though.
Facebook Messenger.
Yeah,
no doubt.
No diggity.
No diggity. I was just listening to that. Friggin', I was there
Let's
till
go.
like 9:30 the other night.
There we
faint
go.
it.
Where you at?
Where?
Oh wait.
Wow.
Bada bing.
Kaboom.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So there's.
Oh, would you look at that?
Now that's the painting right now that I'm doing.
Okay.
That's 5 feet by 4 feet.
Oh my
It's
God.
almost, that's
So
almost
Gabby
taller than me.
is watching right now, and I just realized that she's sending us news clips.
What?
Oh, after meth year.
Gabby and I did a podcast with Chris, and she was sending us news clips. She sent us something about a Scranton Uber driver. She's listening right
hold
now.
off on that.
I'm sorry. I did. I just noticed this. I'm sorry.
She should comment it.
What do we got going on here, dude?
All right,
I'm
so
gonna
this
send it to
was
you right
the
now.
this was when the Eagles were on their little Super Bowl run.
Okay.
And I started drawing things that were germane to the Phillies run or the Eagles run for the last season. So there's a lot, you know, they talked about how nasty they were. And then we down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's the giant. That's the Disney giant.
Okay.
So instead of the Philadelphia Eagles giant, the Philadelphia Eagles giant, Jesus Christ, the New York Giants, I drew the Disney one, right?
Okay.
Right next to him was like a 49er kind of guy, right? So after we beat them and they still cried about it, you know. And then, yeah, there's lots of motif that goes in there. There's lots of roots from Nick Sirianni and the roots we were going to have there. But so this is the painting I was talking about. So this is 5 feet by 4 feet.
Okay.
And it's actually abstract brain and skeleton, like the actual vertebrae, and
awesome.
all of the ribs. And that's an old photo. So I've actually built a lot more off of that.
Nice, dude.
But like I said, this is all like this is
I see a titty.
There is a titty, and it's even dripping milk.
It's got a little going on.
Yeah. But again, if you ask me, Chris, where did this come from? I would not be able to tell you. I wouldn't have the first clue.
Is there a place you plan on putting like all of the artwork up?
So what I want to do,
where can people find it?
You can find me on Facebook and message me
in my messenger, in my DMs.
No, and all right. So this all comes to a grand idea that I have, that I want to create a comedy club that is also a gallery.
Yes. And I want in.
I want to call it the Comedy Gallery.
Fuck yeah.
And obviously not just to showcase my art, but I have friends from all across the country that I've met that are artists, that it's really difficult to get venues to showcase your art, especially ones where there's foot traffic, where people come in. And, you know, again, talking about the shit that my dad had been through, knowing people like yourself, you know, the struggles that you guys have gone through with substance abuse. I think one of the problems I have with comedy clubs is the 2-drink minimum. It's always been something that really bothers me, because it basically says the only way you can have fun at this comedy show is if you have a couple drinks, and that's not true. You smoke weed, then, you know,
I don't drink and drive, I smoke and fly, baby.
Yeah, just.
Well, there's an idea for a comedy club.
Well, I actually
2-joint minimum.
I really would love that.
Jersey, baby.
I think the HVAC that would go into it would break us.
They do have
worth it,
like liquor stores where you can go and like test the like they'll have cognac or sherry or scotch. And there was one up north where I grew up. They had an entire glassed off area, and the HVAC pumped it directly because they were on outside walls.
Right.
So it just pulled it. You could sit there, smoke cigars, sip
what they do
wine.
in casinos.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you'll see like
Yeah,
the
they
guy
use
always
also
like
the
zero
relay
two
track
into
system.
there.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
pulling it right out.
It keeps
But,
you more awake. It makes it so you don't want to get tired and go to sleep up in the room.
yeah.
That's why you don't see the outsider clocks.
That's probably
Yeah.
why they don't do that with weed, because people be like, I don't fucking know what's
Double
going
down,
on, dude.
man.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah,
at the table,
man.
sir. This is a Chickies and Pete's.
Sir, you are talking to a ficus.
But no, the idea is I would love to create a gallery that also does stand-up comedy because and it's funny, my 16-year-old daughter, we were having a conversation one day, and she's like a lot smarter than I am. She says to me, she goes, well, you know, Dad, I often think people overlook how much of an art comedy is.
Mm.
And like I was like,
Coming from a 16.
I'm like, what? And she said, well, you know, I see some of your clips and I think about how like the words you use. I know you're very specific in the words you use because you know they're going to get that laugh. She's like, it's just like when I paint or when I draw, it comes down to the stroke. You have to be deliberate. You have to know what color to use, etc. And I was like, wow, this kid, what a beautiful
Talk about
insight.
a fucking dad moment,
right? Like I was so proud of her.
Dad, I can't wait for that. Talk about a dad moment.
And it happens. And that's the beauty of it, is it does happen because I've had it with both of my daughters. But when she said this about comedy, I'm like, I started thinking, I'm like, I love what art gave me as a way to escape from the shit that I was dealing with and pain, etc. And then comedy has always been my escape, right?
Yeah.
So why not
combine them
and do it in a way where, again, back to the drinking thing, instead of a 2-drink minimum, I would love to be able to do a 1-print minimum and have prints made where when you go in and you get your ticket, you actually get to pick from a print of one of the artists that we have.
Okay.
So you're buying your 2 tickets for $30 and it's going to cost you another $20 for 2 prints because you got 2 tickets, right? So a night out is $50 comedy show and you're walking away with art, something that you can hang on your wall, something you can do with, something that you can give to your kids or your neighbor, or your friend, because art is like, I'm sitting here, I've already noticed what you have up.
Yeah.
And like even the thing that's blocking out the window is art in and of itself because it's multi-color. I saw that and I was like,
that's cool shit. It looks like brick walls outside of a building of a comedy club.
Right. So like again, the way we arrange things can be artistic. The way, you know, music. Again, I'm digressing, but I would love to be able to have a club that not all, and also because with the inner educator in me, is to be able to work with local high schools so that young people like my daughter, who's going into 11th grade next year and has slowly gotten away from talking about how she wants art to be part of her life. So I constantly have to remind her of it, right? And why? Because she doesn't think art can be something that can provide her with a life. And if I can get a place where young people can be 15 and 16 years old and they can sell a piece of their art for $400 or $500 and go, wait a minute, if I actually focus, I could really do this. And to me, sparking off that for future artists, because look, man, times are tight everywhere.
Yeah.
Why not give opportunity? And I know for especially kids that struggle economically, a chance to make a couple $100 a legit way.
Stuff to do.
Yeah.
Stuff to do is a big thing.
Being able to offer comedy classes to high school kids,
and the possibilities with the art stuff is limitless.
A place to win and fail in that field. Like the biggest part about when we started doing comedy was in South Jersey. I mean, Philly, there's a shit ton of places, but there are a lot of big places.
Yeah.
And Philly's intimidating when you're first getting into the scene. You're crossing the bridge. You're going into an entire demographic.
It's very
of people.
clicky too.
Yeah,
it is a little clicky.
Very, very clicky.
South Jersey has open mics. We have, guys like you guys that would actually like rent out a bar for a night and hope to God the door charge covered everything. Otherwise, you're reaching into your own.
Oh, was there a door
pocket.
charge? Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
Something.
Oh shit!
Something.
Were we supposed to make money at those places?
And it's a place that isn't intimidating for that guy who only has the option to go up to in a pizza place,
right?
Or somebody who's experimenting with all their different types of music and their artwork and painting and sculpture. I think that's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah. Any way to kind of alter the direction of the same old, I'm down for.
Yeah.
Because again, you go to a place, you have to get your drinks for what? Like, walk out of that place with a night of laughter.
That you make it a BYOB. With you.
That's what I'm saying.
Make it a BYOB. Something
like this idea in and of itself isn't just my idea. Like it's comedy clubs across the country could do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they did that, I think you would change the outlook of things. And there's a lot of, and I know for a fact there's a lot of comedians that also do visual art. Imagine having a comedian in town who not only does stand-up, but also is an artist.
And imagine how much you can promote that now with technology being what it is and communications.
The possibilities are endless. You could have gallery shows. You could do it by region. So you could have like 1 month where you do all like Philly comics. You could do, you know what I mean?
And also showcase the art from those areas.
Exactly.
You know,
you could even do it from surrounding areas because you've been all over the country doing comedy.
Well, that's really, if you said like ultimate goal, I would love to be able to do it where the club itself is sustainable,
or the
mobile gallery.
The art sustains the comedy sustains the art. It just becomes
they have
its
one
own
mobile show.
Well, there's
mobile gallery.
Bucks County Community College actually has a full trailer that will take art to places and do mobile galleries.
That's what I was. Yeah,
right.
It's a big ass trailer.
So,
I wonder if we knew somebody that worked at Camping World.
We don't really mention that on the podcast, but that's cool.
Oh, my bad. I didn't realize.
We don't really do that. only
sorry.
because certain opinions, words, and feelings are being shared here, and I still got bills to pay. Unless you guys all want to just start.
You should just bleep that out then, right?
That's not how live streams work.
I know.
We don't edit out real life, bud. You're the tech guy. How the fuck don't you know that?
You could just delete the video and just repost it.
No, don't delete it. Everything else except for your bullshit was great. I'm just kidding.
Way to ruin it.
So all right.
We were
I say one thing and fucked it up.
Not only am I in, but you had mentioned this to me a couple months back when we had first scheduled all this, and we realized I was terrible at making a podcast, and then the Jew crew came and rescued me from my technological.
The Jew crew.
Shalom, bitches.
So
say
now.
Sorry.
I guess my first question is how do we make this dream a reality?
Well,
what are like? Give me like the 3 to 5 base steps, and then obviously each step has like micro steps, like 1B, 1A.
Read out
1A.
your business plan.
Yeah, give us everything.
All right. So one of the things I want to do, actually,
tell us your blood type.
Can you pull up for those that may be watching? I sent a video to Dustin, and if you want to put this up on your page after the fact, but it actually is a video of my drawing. Like literally as I'm drawing and capturing it, right?
Okay.
So
I do see that an Uber driver exposed himself to a female passenger. Is that what you're talking about?
No,
no, that was in Scranton.
Something different. That would be that I will be checking.
Oh, that was Eric.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that
okay.
okay.
Sorry. When did you sent what? What did you send?
I sent it to Dustin. It's a video. It's all in those pictures that I also sent. But the idea is, so let's say it's your mom's birthday, and you want to send something special to mom, and you're like, you know what? Let's get something we can hang on her wall. And you tell me a dozen things about mom, and it's drawn up, but it's done where you're also getting a video out of it. So you get a final product that's printed out and it's wall ready.
Yeah.
But then you also get a video that you give to the person where they actually see the entire process of their piece of art being made.
That's
like,
cool.
Like shot for shot as it's
right. Yeah.
created.
It's like literally
so
as
like stages.
Yeah. It's not even stages. It's literally every stroke mark you can see. So you can speed it up, slow it down.
I'm not seeing it.
That's cool.
It's probably in
it's
jumble.
No worries. I mean,
I'll post it up. I'll post it up after this video with it.
So and you can also do it with music. So like if somebody wanted, shit, we could, again, this is, another idea.
So you're making a customized piece of art specific to a person. This is being commissioned by a person planning on giving a gift or anything like that.
It's like,
hey, that's my picture.
Yeah, that's your picture right there. There's that one was that was fun. It's a bunch of little plastic babies made into a gun with the backdrop, and I got people get all pissed off. Like, oh, you ruined the flag. And it's like, no, fucko. That was a chair cover. So it was ruined before because it was made into a chair cover. Stop telling me that I'm ruining
the meaning of the flag the moment you turned it into a chair cover.
But no, I think that idea would work in terms of generating interest in just the art itself, and people will pay a decent amount of money for personalized things.
Yeah, I don't see the video in there, buddy.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, he'll send it to me afterwards.
I thought I had it in there, but I'm
Dude,
also special.
I'm super in. I want to do anything I can to make that dream a reality for real.
Well,
that sounds like something that I would. I mean, I would change that as my job if it
I
meant
think
a living.
And that's the thing is like the places I found. I was telling your brother, you ready for this one, Eric? $10 per square foot, 2,000 square feet, $20,000 a month. I would have to sell out 2 shows a night every weekend to fill, like to pay rent.
Well, realistically, how big of a space do you need? Like a gallery. When I think of a gallery, I think of like a smaller kind of like more intimate spot. Realistically, how big do you need?
Well, in order to do the comedy,
Yeah, to make it like
it would have
theater.
I not even a theater. I mean, if
Really?
I'm talking
Theater size.
We've done some fucking comedy in some shitholes. What that Final Score place?
We don't want to do it in a shithole.
Well, yes. Oh, dude, I was gonna say that actually. When you mentioned one of your best sets, that was one of my best sets I've ever had. But the start of that show was amazing. Them trying to get Jim McCauley down in the green room. Remember that shit?
Down in the green room.
Yes, that's what I said. Down into the green room.
Fucking Jimmy.
Yeah,
So
dude.
Jim McCauley is almost 7 feet tall, 500 pounds, and the green room was in the middle of the stage. You had to go down into a hole in the floor, crawl down a fucking ladder, and that was the green room. There was no other access.
Do you ever see Winnie the Pooh when he gets stuck in the hole?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how that would have had to work.
That's what I was.
He looked at it and he was like, "Nope." Didn't even try it.
Well,
that shithole.
I'm super in. Please get me as much of that as you can, so I can put this up.
I've several ideas along the way. Like I was looking at the property, and then the whole time I'm looking at it, I'm like talking to the guy. They were under contract. Like it's just people are so full of shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And decade in sales.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, I when I was in college, I hate people. So it's like the reality is. If I say, hey, I want this or I want to do this, and you go, I can't.
Did you have an area in mind that you wanted to do it in? Did you want to stick to the Philly area?
I want to stick within an hour of where I'm at, because if I'm gonna run it and I'm gonna do it, I want it to be.
It's got to be.
I want it to be feasible.
Sure.
There's now. Okay, so you want to hear an idea?
Burlington has a really big. They used to have a flea market up there on 130.
There's a place in PA. It's called Free Will Brewing. I don't know. I got toured through this place.
Okay.
In the back, there's a room that they have wire for sound. There's light. It would be so easy to create a gallery and a club in this space. Do you think I can get these motherfuckers to respond? Do you think it's probably not. I'm reaching out and giving you something that will make you money.
We should just go over there.
Sounds like you need a really annoying Jewish guy who's good at convincing people of things to.
I wish I knew some guys. Oh, hey, hi. How you doing, Chris?
Shalom, bitches.
Seder.
See what we can do, man. Because here's the thing: the moment I hear people that I care about have these ideas that could change their lives and other people's lives, I fucking love that, dude.
And that's I'm just gonna say, like, I have no interest in changing up my life right now in terms of like what I'm doing, the job I have, like being able to adjunct and teach effective communication and to be able to work with college students. Like that to me is really rewarding. However, it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I want to be able to parlay into something that I know is making a difference. Because you shouldn't have to just go down to New Hope, like where I live, and go look at $1,000 photos, like
prints.
I want people to be able to come in and look at a kid's work and be like, you know what, I'll pay $150 for that. That's worth it.
You got to think, man, what if that one step stopping somebody from taking that artistic step and following their path is just an outlet.
It's belief.
It's just a place that to say, you know what, I'm not the only one who does this.
It's belief.
It's belief. It's
all
hope.
we want in this world. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting pissed, but it's all we want in this world is for someone to give a damn. Yeah. That's why when you see a person who clearly has very little in their life, you can absolutely alter the trajectory of their day by engaging them in the simplest of ways. Now, I understand, but he's scary. This person could have mugged me. I get it. All the reasons in the world of why we don't. But even the people we know, even the people we fucking know. One night, I was all depressed in a really fucked up place. I picked up my phone and I started messaging people that I hadn't talked to in 5-6 years after the accident. And just let them know, like, I've been thinking about people in general, and I haven't reached out to you. I don't know what's going on. I just want you to know that at some point in my life, you were a part of my life, and I want you to know that I'm thinking of you. I hope you're doing well. And if you ever need somebody to talk to, like, I'm in a position right now, I got lots of fucking time on my hands.
And a lot to talk about.
I woke up the next morning with dozens, because I was just like till like 6 a.m. because I couldn't sleep because of my ribs. And then I woke up, and then the fucking people like, you have no idea how badly I needed that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Here's my phone number if you want to talk to me. And I talked to people that I hadn't talked to in a really long time, just because in that moment I gave a damn.
Yeah, dude, I remember in like the heat of active addiction and being isolated from everybody, and I was ready to end it, and I was taking steps to end it. Like, legitimately, I may not have been here by now, and someone just sent me a text saying, thinking of you. That shit saved my life. It saved my life. He knows who he is. And if you're watching this, and if at any point I've reached out to anybody through any form of social media, and it's random as fuck. Like, who the fuck? I haven't talked to Dustin in like 6 years.
Right.
That's why. Because I have these long trips into work, and it's like a 40-minute drive, and sometimes I'll just be listening to the radio or Pandora, and like it'll click on, like, I haven't talked to this person in a while.
Right.
What if my text message is what gets them through their day? Or like, hey, dude, I didn't even know that guy was still thinking about me.
Right.
You know what I mean? People just live better when they know someone cares. Someone's out there that's thinking about them.
Yeah, because we want to be pack animals.
Yeah.
Not want to be.
Social
we are
creatures.
pack animals.
Social creatures.
And we want to be part of something. That's why in comedy there was a grouping of guys that came and girls that came together because they all had one common goal, and that was to make people laugh. And
it was a common goal. Like, and it was so many different types of comedy.
Right.
So many different types.
There's
just one common goal, and that was just to make somebody laugh. Because if they laughed, you felt better.
And for, as I say, I would all, many times I've been on stage and I go, it's so funny. Like, I need therapy in the worst fucking way, but you paid me for it tonight.
Damn.
Right? Like, I'm just letting all my shit out, and people are like,
and it's crazy. I have a stand-up coming up on Friday. I'll be up on at Robert's Bar and Grill with Reverend Bob Levy and a few other. I forget the guy's name. Sorry. I can't wait. Like, I haven't been up behind a mic in almost 3 years.
Right.
And I can't fucking wait. Like, I don't have that first up on the mic jitters. Like, I know what I'm capable of. You know what I mean? And
where's the show?
Robert's Bar and Grill.
Where's that?
It's in Berlin, New Jersey. I have links posted on Instagram and all that good stuff. And I'll put links into the description if you guys want to follow on. I'm going to try and have somebody record it live.
What was the name of the place?
I got you.
Robert's Bar and Grill.
Robert's Bar and
Grill. Yeah. I thought you were jerking me around like you really didn't.
I'll end with my thought. I'll wrap my stuff up before you wrap yours up. So based off of what we were just saying, like, I too tried to end it. Thank God for my mom. She literally pulled me out of a car. I had it all revved up, and I was passing out when she pulled me out of it and took me to the hospital. And I sat in a place, and 5 days of Worship Clinic reminded me that it's bad, but it ain't this fucking bad. So I got to see a lot of other situations, and they gave me good medicine that made me see shit, and I was like, whoa, big screen TV, free man. And that's the hardest thing. I think when I did, and I have a show called Glad I Failed, and I talk about my suicide attempt. And the first time I ever did was at a college. And a professor came up to me afterwards, and he says, I have no fucking idea how you made suicide funny.
Hilarious.
He says, I was laughing the whole time. He goes, and I was crying too. He's like, you made me choke up. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, the best comedy is when I can take you down so low that you're crying and then you're cracking up at something. Like, that's, to me, that's like the ultimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when people feel that fucking low, I felt at that point, and I didn't know you guys. So, and I think it would have been different. I reached out to some people and they just ignored me.
Yeah.
And I was in a really dark fucking place. And I think after so many times of people just being like, whatever, I felt like whatever. I went from help me to I'm just a fucking nuisance.
I'm like a plague.
Yeah. And no matter where I go, I'm just fucking things up.
Scorched earth. Yep.
And I don't want anybody else to deal with that anymore. So what I ended up doing for myself was using my comedy to lift me out of. So whether it's you or it's someone else, don't be afraid to fucking throw your hands up, because if you don't realize it, there's someone there that will grab.
And you're not the only one.
You're fucking listen, if you're sad, if you're sitting at home and you're sad, knock it the fuck off.
Smile, bitch.
Stop being sad alone, because there's other sad people and we can do it together.
Oh yeah,
There's
absolutely.
I love it. Well, I guess we'll end off on that note, because that was a pretty good note. Listen, Chris, I can't thank you enough for coming.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Eric, thanks for coming by and the support. Jay, thank you for making
this
Jay. Not a technological abortion. I do appreciate you and the ground you walk on. Everybody, this has been Dust Off the Mic podcast with comedian Chris Smith, Eric Yelowitz, Jay Blendowski, and I'm your humble host, Dustin Yelowitz, and we'll see you next time.